All right, so here is the video. Am I sharing the wrong screen? Probably.
It said interactive video on it.
Oh, it did. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the right one. Usually it's like a little green box that comes up around it to let me know that's what's being shared, and I didn't see it. So can you guys see the hand right now?
Yeah, and they have a Sharpie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Okay. So here is the video. Let me unmute.
Wait, what is this video about?
So remember how we talked about independent and dependent variables? Or maybe we didn't.
We didn't. We didn't talk about anything.
Okay. So, because I've been worried about my Bitmoji classroom. Okay. So remember when we talked about, we talked about the music thing, right? And like whether.
With the volume and like the testing.
Yes,
okay.
Because you get better grades if you studied with music. Okay. So now we're just going to talk about, there's different parts of an experiment. When you do a study or an experiment, there's different parts, right? So realistically, I don't know if I used this example with y'all, but I was saying how we really do science all the time. We just don't think about it as science, but we think scientifically all the time. So for instance, right, if you say, if you go on Snapchat or Instagram, okay, and you digging through people's comments, and then you find something, and then you go back and report it to your friend, that's science, right? You had a question, you did your research, you went and investigated, right? Right? You investigated, you found what you was looking for, or what you didn't find what you was looking for, and then you go back and report your results. We do that all the time. So that is also science. So there's different parts to an experiment. So this particular part of the scientific experiment is if we ask ourselves a question, like we did the other day when we said, can I make better grades if I listen to music when I study? The thing that you're changing, whether or not you're listening to music, has a name, and then the test scores, the stuff you actually collect or your findings has a name, okay? So like if I asked you guys, if you consider yourself independent or dependent, what do you say? What do you think you are?
Independent.
Okay, this is independent.
Independent.
Independent. Okay, so I would think most of you guys would consider yourselves independent. Now, legally, what do you think the government would consider you to be though?
Dependent.
Dependence, right? And that's because they assume you depend on your guardian or your parents, right? So at least for like the necessities. So a dependent depends on something else, right? The independent doesn't need anything, it's freestanding, okay? So whether or not I make better test scores depends on whether or not I'm listening to music. So in that case, my test scores are my dependent variable, and me listening to music or not is my independent variable. And that's what this video is going to talk about. So it's going to talk about what's the independent variable, what's the dependent variable, and then it's going to show us some experiments, and then we're going to figure out, we're just going to do some interactive trying to figure it out. And so if we don't get to the worksheet today, it's fine. We'll do that on Tuesday. Okay, we'll get my notepad. It failed. All right, here we go. So here is the video. Oops.
24/7 science. Today we'll learn to determine the independent and dependent variable using experiments from the Mythbusters. First, let's get some terms clear. There are two main types of variables in an experiment: the independent variable and the dependent variable. The independent variable is the difference between the control and experimental groups of an experiment. The independent variable is the variable changed by the scientists to test the experiment.
All right, so remember the independent variable is the one that we changed. So like when we were listening to music, we changed that. We were like, okay, if I'm gonna make better grades, either I'm listening to music or I'm not. And then, you know, we went to all the like, well, the volume has to be the same, the type of music, the subject we're studying. But the independent variable was, am I listening to music or not while I'm studying, okay?
Hypothesis. The dependent variable is the thing being measured during an experiment, also called data.
So what we measured was my test scores, right? Did I make a better score on the test or not? Okay.
Now let's break down some Mythbuster experiments. Experiment 1. Does adding dimples to a car increase its gas mileage? Since dimples on a golf ball are designed to help a golf ball cut through the air when hit, the Mythbusters decided to apply this logic to a car's shape in hopes that it might increase the gas mileage. Click on the link above to watch the Mythbuster experiment. Come back after to test your knowledge.
Remember, it's the dimples on a golf ball that cut down its drag and make it fly further. So by covering the clay with these,
That's one dimpled car. If ever there was a car that looked like a golf ball, this is it.
it might make the car more aerodynamic.
This is by far one of the stranger things we've ever built. And to my mind, actually one of the most beautiful, and not aesthetically either. I mean, to me, the beauty here is that we've taken the phrase golf ball-like effect on the car to the furthest possible point. No one can accuse us of not going far enough. Is this treatment going to translate to better fuel efficiency? I really don't think so.
Will those dimples make a dent in the fuel consumption?
9,450 grams. That's our start weight.
Well, by now you know the drill.
Main tank solenoid is on. Let's go. Dimple go.
Despite 5 runs at 65 miles per hour, the clay catastrophe never comes. So it's over to Adam.
8,972 grams. All right. Time to do a little math.
What you got?
Okay. The clay car with no dimples was 26 miles per gallon and change. The dimpled car, 29.65 miles to the gallon. There is a golf ball like that.
I feel like eating my beret. But, I'm not gonna.
That's awesome. We totally didn't expect that result.
All right, so they had the car with dimples and the car without.
So which of the following was the independent variable of their dimple car experiment? The dimple car, the normal car with clay, or whether the car had dimples or not?
Okay, so remember the independent variable is the thing that gets changed by the scientists. So what do you guys think? Independent variable. Oh, you know what? Well, you guys can, yeah, you can just say it.
C.
C.
I hear C. Anybody else? C? All right, let's see. All right, let's see.
Remember, the independent variable is the difference between the experimental and control groups. The correct answer is C, whether the car had dimples or not, because that's the difference between the two groups in their experiment. Okay, can you identify the dependent variable in the dimple car experiment? Was it the number of dimples in the car, the gas mileage of the car, or the speed the cars were driven at?
All right, what you got?
B.
Okay, Nigel says B. Where do you think? B?
C.
C. All right, we got some B's and some C's. Let's see. No one said number of dimples. That's good because I don't know how many there were. So let's see.
Remember, the dependent variable is the data collected from the experiment. Okay, the correct answer is B, the gas mileage, because it was thought that the gas mileage would depend on whether the car had dimples in it or not.
Nice job. So they tried to drive the car the same speed both times, but the car without dimples was getting like 26, I think they said like 26 miles to the gallon. And then the car with the golf ball dimples got like 29 miles to the gallon. All right.
Okay, let's go to another experiment. For this experiment, the Mythbusters tested to see if elephants are afraid of mice. So the Mythbusters set up an experiment where a mouse was placed under a cup of elephant dung. When an elephant walks by, the dung is tipped over and the mouse is set free. They repeated their experiment with a no mouse dung control that was tipped over when the elephants walked by as well. Click on the link above to watch the Mythbuster experiment. Come back after to test your knowledge.
You take your piece of elephant dung, and you take your mouse. This is a stand-in mouse. The real one will be later. Put him in the hole. Cover him with the cardboard. Lay it out. You think elephants are going to come on by. And wait in the distance with your monofilament. When the elephant gets near, beep, you expose the mouse and all hell breaks loose.
We've chosen this area because it's open enough that we can see what's going on. And we know there's some food over in that direction. And we're hoping that the elephants will come through here on their way to the food. And at the right moment, we'll roll over the ball of dung, release the mouse, and see what happens. Hey, Adam, are you done yet?
I'm all set, ready to go. Well, with everything ready to go, all that's left is to get some fairly predictable predictions.
For me, I see this the same way I would see a person looking at a fly on the ground. It's going to be so small that you may not even notice it. I don't see any reason why an elephant would be afraid of a mouse.
I don't have high hopes for this myth.
With the sensible money on the no reaction theory, it's go time. The elephants innocently approach the dung of doom in what must be the most easy to anticipate outcome in Mythbusters history. But then, as crazy as it seems, the elephant backs away. The Mythbusters, like me, are flabbergasted. Working under the assumption that it must have been the movement of the dung that freaked the Ellie out, the boys reset for take 2, dung movement only. But this time, the elephant was undeterred. This is getting ridiculous.
He didn't seem to respond to the ball of dung at all, and I think my timing was exactly the same as it was with the mouse in there.
Works for me. Elephants are afraid of mice.
Not only was I totally wrong in the first test about the elephant not reacting at all to the mouse, but after it happened, I was sure that it was the dung moving. I was absolutely positive that it was a dung moving. So we do another test, the dung moves, the elephant doesn't even notice. It has to have been the mouse.
Working on the basis that science is repeatable, the boys are going to retry test 1 to see if they still get this incredible result.
All right, let's see what happens.
For the final time, the elephants approach. And lo and behold, in this David and Goliath battle, David wins again.
He definitely seemed to take notice of the mouse, like it was a significantly different thing than just the dung. I wasn't dreading this result. I'm always pleased to be completely wrong. I'm more astonished that I'm finishing the day calling something plausible that I knew wasn't plausible when I got up this morning.
He definitely didn't freak out, but he was very cautious. The mouse had his attention. It's that little grain of truth that we always look for in a myth, and there it was.
There it was indeed. So with the mouse safe and well, despite Adam's best efforts, and the elephants ready to move on, it's time to wrap this one up.
How are we going to call this one?
Well, it wasn't a stampede. It wasn't like the cartoons. The elephant freaked out at the sight of the mouse. But the idea that the elephant was cautious around the mouse, I'd say we have to call that plausible.
I'd agree.
What do you think?
Okay.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically.
Okay, can you identify the independent variable of their experiment? Was it whether or not there was a mouse under the dung that had the mouse hiding under it, or the elephant's reaction during the experiment?
All right, what you guys got?
C.
B.
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 B. Okay, the dung with the mouse. Okay, anybody else?
Also B.
Oh wait, I think I changed my mind. I think I put. I don't know, either B or C.
B or C. All right, so let's remember what
I
independent
got C.
Yeah, I want to see.
is the thing that the scientist changes. So everybody.
Okay, let's see. I go back to C.
A.
Okay, so now we got some A's, got some C's. The thing that the scientists
Say that again. You said the independent variable is the thing that the scientist changes.
yes,
Mm.
the thing that the scientist changes.
A. It would be A.
Okay, let's see.
Is A.
Alrighty, let's see.
The correct answer is A, because whether or not the mouse was present under the dung was the difference between the experimental groups.
So it'll always be like remember, I can't say I study better with music unless I compare it to how I do without music. So, and then remember on the first one, it was either the car had dimples or not. So it needs to be like a this or that type of thing with the independent statement or the independent variable, okay? So this is whether or not there was a mouse. So, but that can be tricky sometimes. So usually I say, if you think about the dependent depends on that, let's look at what the dependent is and then ask ourselves this again.
What about this experiment's dependent variable? Was it the number of times the experiment was repeated, the elephant's reaction during the experiment, or the number of elephants scared by the mice?
It's got to be B. B.
Okay. All right, so now I'll tell you that B is correct. So
Yeah, B.
this is how I look at it. Okay, so if I know, sometimes it's easier to figure out what you're measuring, right? So sometimes the dependent is easier. Well, I know I'm trying to figure out, is the elephant scared or not? So I'm looking at the elephant's reaction. So then I ask myself, what does that's a dependent variable, what does that depend on? And it depends on whether or not the mouse was there, right? So whether or not the mouse was there is your independent. So the dependent, and I'm gonna give you guys some notes to put in your, I'm gonna throw it in Schoology. The dependent depends on the independent. So the elephant's reaction depends on whether or not there was a mouse there or not. Let's do, let's see if we do one more.
The correct answer is B, because it is the reaction of the elephant that was being measured each time the experiment was carried out.
Actually, no, let's do, I'm gonna give you this, the tech thing. Let's do, let me ask you this. Okay, so on this one, so the other thing we haven't talked about is a control. Okay, so the control is what you're measuring against, okay? So for instance, if I say I study better with music, my control would be for me to study without music, okay? So the control is like the thing, control means the thing that's not changed, okay? Independent variable is when you change it. All right, so let's do this. We're gonna do, I'm gonna put this assignment, I'm gonna go ahead and put an assignment and we can work on it some more. Wait, what was the next one? Let me see. Yeah, let's not do the next one. So I'm going to do a couple things. One, I'm gonna put an assignment in Schoology and I'm going to go ahead and throw the link to that technology, to the technology thingy in the, I'm just gonna throw it in the chat for now. I'll eventually put it on the Bitmoji classroom, but I'm gonna put it in the chat because my department chair said we gotta get it done. So if you guys will go fill this out, and then I'm going to throw, I'm gonna throw a Schoology form up and I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can be talking about it and then you can fill it out later. So if you have some paper nearby, you guys can start doing the answers and then you can just put it on your sheet. I'm gonna do breakout rooms in a little bit. All right, so here's the tech form. I want you guys to work on that for me. Shouldn't take but a few minutes. Not long at all. I'll put some music on. And then I'm gonna be working on this. So you guys do that Google form. If you're not working, go ahead and work on that Google form for me. It shouldn't take you long. And then I'm gonna put something in Schoology, and I'll just put it up on the screen. You can. Have you guys done the form?
I finished it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. So you guys can start thinking about it, and we'll finish working on it we'll finish working on it sometime probably on Tuesday. But I want you to, I'm just gonna put up on the screen. I'm gonna do breakout rooms. So I'm gonna put up the worksheet that you're gonna be working on. And then if you wanna just write down your answers on like scratch paper, this will be in Schoology, and then we'll come back and actually start putting in our answers and stuff on Tuesday. I cannot get my days together. All right, so here is the form. Let me do, okay. And I'm gonna put you guys in breakout rooms. So this is the format I kind of wanna go through. I want us to be able to give. So you would have watched the video, right? Which we watched the video today, but we watched it in class together. We'll come back, we'll talk about it, any questions you got, and then I'm gonna put you in breakout rooms and you guys could work together. Now, everybody should be contributing. So you shouldn't just be sitting there listening to answers. And besides, you don't know if people are right or not. Then if you guys have a question, remember we talked about all of those. You can raise your hand and stuff. And I'm gonna pop in and out of the rooms anyway, but I'm trying to give you the opportunity to work together. Okay, so here is the questions. All right, can you guys see that? Let me see if I can zoom in. Can you guys see that? All right, I'm gonna put you in breakout rooms now, and you guys can talk about it. Let's do Here we go. There you go. Michael, Kaylin, and Kevin, yes, if you guys can join your rooms.
The computer keeps kicking me out, so I don't know what we're doing because
Okay. If you
it
did
keeps
you,
kicking me out.
okay, I'm gonna put you in a room, and then we're just looking at what's on my screen and just talking to each other about it and trying to find the answers.
Because the computer keeps kicking me out, so I didn't really know what we're talking about.
Okay, they'll help you out. Just ask them. They'll probably explain it anyway, and then I'll pop into your room and talk to you about it. Okay? Did you get that invite?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Kaylin, are you there? Did you get your invite? Camille, I'm gonna throw you in a room. Give me 1 second. Kaylin, are you there?
Wait, this text is like super small. Trying to.
I'm just listening. And if y'all have any questions or whatever, I'm just popping into different rooms. You guys know how to raise your hand if you have a question on the reactions, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys can still see my screen though, right?
Right now, yeah.
Okay. Are you guys just doing it by yourselves? You guys supposed to be helping each other.
Are we doing? What are we doing?
Do you see? Can you see my screen with the?
No.
With the
I can't.
seasons? You can't? Can anybody else see it? Janae, can you see it?
Nah.
Oh, you guys can't see my screen?
I think when you put us in the breakout room, we can't.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Let me see. How about now?
Yeah, we can see you now.
We just do this together.
Yeah, you guys can work on it together. So it's a homework assignment, but you guys can work on it together. Okay, I'm gonna leave this room and I'm gonna see if everybody else can see it. I'll come back, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let me see if everybody else can see it. Or if it's like just what room I'm in. Let me see. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
You can see you can see the Simpsons thingies?
No, I'm on Schoology. I see on Schoology.
Oh, so I guess, okay. All right. I guess that's gonna be interesting. Okay, I thought maybe I could. So I'll just have to make sure it's in Schoology before. So like if I do this, now you can see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you learn something new every day. All right. Okay.
What, so we can't do breakout rooms no more?
No, we can't. I like the breakout rooms. Well, what I'll do is I'll just make sure it's in Schoology first, because me personally, I would prefer to, like right now, this is a homework assignment, right? Well, not homework, but a classwork assignment. It's like, I would much rather do this with 4 other people than just do it by myself. That's me. What do you,
I mean,
yeah, you got a point.
So that's what I'm trying to do. So I'll just have to remember to put it in Schoology first. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and close the breakout rooms because we ain't got but a few more minutes anyway. And I'll just tell people what I realized. So let me close all the rooms. Okay. All right, so what I discovered is that when we go into the breakout rooms, you guys can't see my screen, right? Okay, so what I'll do is, I think we're still waiting on a couple people, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I put it in Schoology first. So like I put it in Schoology, so like I went in one group. So I went into one group and they had already pulled it up on Schoology anyway. So what I'll do is I'll make sure when we do these assignments, it's in Schoology, and I'll say, hey guys, go ahead and pull it up. We'll go into the breakout rooms and then you guys can work on it. Cause I thought if I shared my screen and put you in the breakout rooms, you guys could still see it, but you couldn't. Not unless I was in your breakout room and sharing. So I wouldn't worry about this over the weekend. You can look at it if you want, but when we come into class on Tuesday, this is what we're going to be working on. So what I want you to do is make sure you pull it up on Schoology or print it out or whatever you want to do, or take a picture with it of off your phone or whatever. And then that's what we'll be working on Tuesday. Does that make sense? Any questions, concerns, suggestions? No? Okay. Please do that link. It is not for me, it's for my boss's boss. So they just want to make sure everybody has technology. Okay. So if you didn't do that, I'm going to send it out again and remind. What'd it take? Like 3 minutes, maybe? If that. Did everybody do it?
It took like 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Everybody did it? Yes? Thumbs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing some people who didn't put up thumbs. I'm curious. Hopefully they did it. All right. You guys have a great weekend. I'll see you on Tuesday, and hopefully I'll have my life together. So bye guys. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Thanks. You too. Gonna go eat my chips.
You're welcome.
Bye, ladies.